Good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. Today we are looking at the Milwaukee tubing cutters. Cleaner cuts, right? Well, we're going to see about that. What you're looking off to the left, you see all these little cuts. These were not made with the Milwaukee. Obviously, it is still in its case. I just got back from the store picking these up because I recently picked up the Ridgid tubing cutters, and let me just say, nothing against Ridgid, love Ridgid's tools, no hate, but one, the handles open super wide. That thing, you have to sit there and really like get the end of your finger on it. If you have mega big hands, that might be something that works for you, but if I'm only cutting 1 inch, I don't need it to be super wide. Spring assisted, cool, so I don't have to keep pushing them open, but this is what was made with the Ridgid cuts. So again, let's zoom in action here. They're relatively, move that out the way. They're relatively straight. Come on, focus, baby. They're relatively straight. Again, pretty okay cuts from Ridgid. And this is PEX B, by the way. They are, relatively square cuts. However, when you snap down on them after after that last disconnection, your hands tingle. And I know somebody's gonna be like, well, just get stronger hands, you little wimp. Well, that's not the point. The point is you want comfortable tools. You want something that's you're happy to be using. And so I went back and I said, let me see about the Milwaukees. A lot of people are saying go with Knipex, go with Ridgid. Milwaukee hand tools suck. Home Depot's removing all the Klein stuff and they're replacing everything with Milwaukee. I get it. Listen, I'm, neither here nor there. I have Klein stuff. I've got Milwaukee stuff. We're talking about these today. I'm talking too much already. So I already gave it a little encouragement. So pop it open. I love any pliers or any type of tool, any cutters, anything that come with a lock. I don't want to just see something sitting on a shelf somewhere wide open like that. You can get cut with the blade. It's always dangerous. Nice little slip lever lock. The Ridgids actually have like the little bottom buckle. Let me show you the Shark Bite Remover Pro tool so that you can see what I'm talking about. So these are the Shark Bite Pro tools. As you can see, it has that little hook unlock. That's the exact same mechanism, just kind of built into the bottom of the Ridgids. I'm going to put the Ridgids on the screen so we know exactly what I'm talking about. So that right there, I don't like that mechanism. I much rather have just a slide lock like this. Kind of like, let me grab the drawer. Whoa, sorry about that. The simple disconnects on anything where you can just snap it in, out, lock, unlock. Love that. So that's a point for Milwaukee over Ridgid. So here we have some hose. Again, this is just some simple hose, 5/8 inner diameter. The reason I use this is because it is a smaller diameter, so hooked up to my transfer pump, I can sneak it into a TPR or inside a valve once I replace it before I put in a new brass one for water heaters, anything like that. You want a nice small diameter hose, but that is not the point. The point is that sometimes you need to change these connections out. Maybe you want to add a male or female end on the other side, but I found a longer piece of the same type of pipe and I was going to use this for deeper or longer water heaters, and so I needed to take a piece off the end. So this is a piece that I took off with the Ridgids, and zoom in action. You can see it's a bit of a wonky cut. Again, somebody out there is going to be like, oh my, this is the regular end that was on the outside, so this doesn't count. But this is the cut that the Ridgid made. And no disrespect to Ridgid, the issue is that it was crushing the pipe or crushing the hose instead of slicing through it. So that's the issue there. You need really sharp blades. You can't have something that just squishes it and then finally snaps, because then you're going to end up with a wonky cut. Let me back you out a little bit. So these, just going by here, you can see zoom in action. It says rubber and plastic tubing up to 1 inch. So it's rated for it. So respectfully, that is not a point against Ridgid. It's just something that can't be done. And the Ridgids were like 40 bucks. These were 30. So for something that's $10 cheaper and can do a little more. Now these are perfect. Like Just in the hands, this is as wide as they go. I can easily get 3 fingers around. That's actually like a really natural state. So I like that. The Ridgids were like almost 90 degree. Like the leg is like out here. So you really have to reach for it. So very happy for these. So let me stop talking and start clipping. Right? This is PEX B 1/2 inch. And again, even sitting at the top of the tool, probably got like 3 inches from the bottom. There's still plenty of leverage. Again, it is just PEX B, so it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it was definitely harder with the Ridgids. But again, sliding my hand down, get a little more leverage. Again, easy, no clip. About the same snap or vibration you get from the Ridgids, but I'd say pretty square cuts. I mean, zoom in action. Y'all gonna get annoyed at that, I promise. So, it's a relatively square cut. The main thing is to make sure that that blade is not walking or sliding, because that's ultimately what leads to, you know, your cut not being square. So you want to fall right into that cradle. This cradle back here, you want it to fall nice into that nice round spot. Some people also recommend giving your pipe a little bit of a twist or a little bit of a score, so that as it's cutting, it makes a nice perfect clip. And that looks fantastic. Let's get a zoom in of the piece that came off. And yeah, little wonky on this one, but maybe by like what, 1/2 millimeter or millimeter. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I like these, but let's check about what it can do with the hose. 1 second. So for reference, this is without making that round score. So it does also squish the hose down, but with the blade being as sharp as it is, just decompress the end of the pipe a little bit. We can see it makes a damn near square cut. That is beautiful. And for anybody who's doing this or using them for hoses, you have my blessing. That's really nice. So it's rated for PVC, CPVC, ABS, PE, PP, poo-poo caca. You know, all the regular plastic pipes that you're going to be finding out in the, out in the world. But my main 2 applications were for PEX, specifically PEX B is what my apartment has, and for hoses, in case I have to do any repairs on washing machines or any lines like that. I want to make sure that my tools are up to the task. Now, just cherry on top is that Milwaukee has a limited lifetime warranty, so I'm assuming that if anything happens to these as far as, structurally, any manufacturing defects, anything, the handles snap off or the mechanism falls apart or something like that, you walk in, they give you a new pair, and that'll be the end of the warranty. So you, in the future, if anything happens to that replacement, then you would have to buy a new one. With the Ridgids, they did have a full lifetime warranty, so if they ever break, of course, you go back and you get new ones. So, lifetime warranties are fantastic with Ridgid. However, this tool is what can get it done for me. Let's give this PEX one more clip. I'm going to do 1 clip normal and 1 clip after like kind of spinning the pipe to see if that score changes anything. Okay, check the end of the pipe. That's looking beautiful. That's a damn near square pipe. Right? We check the little piece that came off. Nice. Nice. Now, let's check one where we barely get the... Let's try one where we barely get the blade to touch. And then we give the pipe a little bit of a twirl. Again, with enough pressure to keep it from spinning. And then you see that the blade, I'm not even really squeezing it, the blade is just falling through the material. And so, regardless of the fact, that's a beautiful cut. I'd say arguably doing that little spin with your pipe is giving it a better cut, just slightly. But, you know, if you're in a rush and something's leaking and you just need to make a quick cut, you're not going to be disappointed with these. So, as far as pros, we got lock. Love that mechanism. That's 1 point. Point number 2, super sharp blade capable of getting through rubber hose as well as plastic. You don't want 50 different cutters for 50 different things if you can get one that does rubber and plastic. These are nice. That's point 2. Point 3 is going to be the limited lifetime warranty. If you don't believe me, zoom in action right there. Limited lifetime warranty. Support any tool where the companies actually back up their product and say, you know what, it failed when it wasn't supposed to, here's another one. And point 4 is going to be my personal favorite, is going to be that there are replaceable blades. I hate tools where you use them and once they're done, they just go to the trash. See those blades right there? I'm going to leave it on the screen, the part number for a replacement blade. So if these ever go bad, all you have to do is replace them. I've heard some people say that they're really good quality steel, so you can even sharpen them. But these are very nice. Love that. Also, quick side note, in case anybody cares, there's a hole for a lanyard. So if you have to tether this to something, or your tool belt, or your waist or something, by all means, be my guest. Now, I know some of y'all are going to be mad, but right now, as far as the situation that's going on in my personal life, that is that the first floor tenant's water supply for their washing machine is the same water supply that goes to my apartment. That's my toilet for refilling, my sinks, and my water heater. And what that means is that whenever there's an issue with my personal plumbing, it means that I have to shut off their washing machine, which is absolutely inconvenient for them. Now, me being considerate as a neighbor, I just want to make sure that they're 100% able to use their washing machine even if I'm having an issue with my plumbing. So, because I know the landlord is not going to do something about it, I'm going to be removing the wall panel up to mine. I'm going to be cutting out the PEX B, or at least cutting off a section, and adding in a shark bite. Now, I could put in a crimp PEX B. I'm only putting in a shark bite because I'm not sure if they're going to go with 3/4 in the future or if they're going to do that. So it is a temporary fix. You should never use shark bites forever. But the PEX is something that if they want to upsize, PEX B does have a restriction with the inner flow. So, you know, I don't want less flow getting to my fixtures. And for that reason, I will be using a shark bite. So if you see shark bites in my video, I respect shark bites. Again, I have the Pro Tool. I'm cool with shark bites. I just, you know, I know that they're only going to last 10, 20 years versus a permanent solution. So with that being said, are you going to pick up the Milwaukees? Do you have these Milwaukees already? Or do you have something else that puts these to shame and you're like, you know what, these suck because I have the XYZ pliers or cutters and they're going to be much better than these. I know Milwaukee also has one with rubber grips. Actually, when I scanned it at Home Depot, it was showing the picture that had the black and red handles. That black part is what actually is rubberized molding for these. These handles are, you know, kind of scored or not knurled, but textured plastic. So they are most definitely not rubber. If I try to dig my nail into them, it's just hard plastic. So I know they'll be tough, but me personally, cons is I wanted to see a rubber handle on this. Kind of like these old pliers here. Even just these rubber dipped pliers, anything like this. Same thing, commercial, electric, any of my tools, just, you know, having rubber is nice. It absorbs some of that shock when you finally click through plastic. That's just my personal thing. So for cons, we have non-rubber handles. Again, even this kind of rubberized plastic here on the Pro Tools for the shark bite. If I dig my nail in, you're able to see kind of a mark or a score. So anything with a little bit of padding is okay in my book. So con number 1 is no rubber handles, hard plastic. Con number 2, even though I do love replaceable blades, are the fact that when you take out these screws, sometimes they may not sit tight again. Some people were complaining about needing to put some kind of thread locker, and so in the future, if you ever replace your blade, some people say just use the blue stuff in case you have to remove it again. You don't want the permanent stuff, but let it cure, let it dry, and you're good to go. And realistically speaking, those are my only two complaints. Just making sure that the replacement blades, you know, it would have been nice if there was some kind of spring or some kind of, you know, hard lever or a bolt. But these two little star screws, you know, who's to say when they strip out, and then going through a part number to try to find replacements for it, that might be its own headache. Between the small screws, that may be a adventure finding the replacement parts for that, and the fact that they don't have rubber handles, those are my only two cons with these. Otherwise, these are great. I know these are going to do exactly what I need them to do, and on command when I need them to do their job, regardless if I'm holding them backwards or holding them on the side. If I'm at an angle, I know, nice and sharp. So from hand tools to power tools, Milwaukee still keeping it real, and I can appreciate that. This isn't me sucking off the Red Army. This is, if a tool is good, I'm going to say so, and if it sucks, I'm going to let you know. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So until next time, work smart.